This video is brought to you by Sporlin. Quality, integrity, tradition.
Good morning, guys. Today I'm doing absolutely nothing that's exciting or engaging in any way whatsoever. Just some filter changes. It got me thinking about, that type of work. When you're in the HVAC trade, you're gonna have just as many days like this that just can be excruciating if you're not into it. If you have a mind that needs to be constantly engaged or challenged, days like this can be difficult to get through without falling asleep or just, feeling underutilized. For you guys that are maybe newer getting into it and you're getting stuck on this kind of work almost exclusively, to just stay the course and make it work for you. Yes, you'll do a lot of your best learning and make a lot of your biggest breakthroughs when you're actually finally thrown at something, sink or swim, thrown right into the fire by the seat of your pants. There's no denying that. There's no substitution for that. But in the meantime, those of you that maybe are not quite at that point and you're mainly being used to conduct filter changes, PMs, belt changes, stuff like that, it gives you the opportunity for a different kind of learning. This is your time to let your curiosity kind of wander. If you're on a rooftop and you've got all day to change filters on a bunch of RTUs, that is your best time to be in a hands-on environment where you can kind of poke around and look into things that you didn't notice before. Like, hey, why does that rooftop, over there have two sensors on the economizer? I thought it just has one. It looks for temperature, That's an opportunity for you to dig a little bit into that, pick up the manual if it's in the unit, and you may learn something you didn't know before. Why does this unit have two pressure switches on the low side of the system? I thought there was only a low pressure switch. Oh, wait, this one's called a loss of charge switch in the schematic. I wonder why they have that. Maybe I'll learn what the difference is between that and a low pressure switch. Now I have something to go home tonight and look up in my books or call somebody that's a mentor of mine and figure out what exactly that was.
All this silence, dear old friend, come to push you to the bitter end. And it's a repeat, echo loop, wanna cut it out, the tide is turning back at you.
Those are your times to do that. Now, I'm not saying on your customer's dime to just completely leave what you're working on to go study on another unit, but there's ways to do that and integrate it into what you're already doing. If you're already doing PMs, if you're changing filters in a unit, it doesn't take but a minute to pop the panel open, take a quick scan through it, pick up the book if it's there, glance at the schematic, practice your interpretation of ladder or wiring diagrams. You'll find that over an entire season, you'll pick up quite a bit and that'll accumulate and you'll remember that stuff. And some of your best training ever will be when you're finally thrown at something that you've got no idea about. There's no substitution for that, but that won't be the time that you casually learn about some of the nuances and extra components or features or concepts that are on a particular piece of equipment. That'll be the time that you learn how to operate under pressure at a higher level of anxiety depending on the situation. You'll learn how to use your resources to work through a problem, whether that be with your own brain, with the literature that's available, apps or literature on your smartphone, calling your mentors, and even calling tech support. Those are all tools in your toolbox in addition to your own brain power that you will learn to utilize and prioritize and know which one to use at what point. That's exactly the kind of thing that you'll learn in those situations. But just make sure not to squander the opportunities on those boring and mundane days to do some of that lighter, more casual learning in a stress-free environment. And down the road, a few years from now, you'll come to learn that those are some of your best times and your best opportunities to get a lot out of your workday. And everything I said to up until now is really just emphasizing what you can personally get out of as far as a learning experience when you're doing filter changes and such like that. I didn't even get into the fact that if you're only being sent to do that kind of thing and you start poking around those units, in addition to that, once you start learning, you're going to find and see problems and find potential work. You start giving that information back to your service manager, your foreman, whoever you answer to, they're going to start to realize that you're not just there going through the motions, that you're actively being aware of your surroundings, keeping your head on a swivel, and you're finding money for your employer. they will see that and they will appreciate that. They'll know you have the drive to go to the next level, and you're now providing value above and beyond what they sent you there to do, which was just to change filters or wash a coil. That's ultimately how you're going to fast track yourself beyond that guy and go into probably the next role, which is going to be a full-blown PM technician or somebody that's being trusted and sent to do thorough operational PMs, which is going to include much more on your tasking paperwork than just the coils and the air filters. The sky's the limit from there. Once you get to that point, your exposure and your knowledge will snowball and keep you on that trajectory of becoming a full-blown service technician. And a few years after that point, you'll grow to actually appreciate and maybe even enjoy the days that you actually get to go back to some of those basics and spend a day changing filters. Lord knows this trade takes a lot out of you and pushes you to your limit on many occasions, especially when you're finally trusted by your employer as somebody they can rely on to troubleshoot and figure out the hard problems. Before you know it, within a few years, you'll be trying to explain these same concepts to a new person getting into the trade that looks up to you. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. As always, you tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next.
Oh, yeah. Oh.